Welcome back to the Survival Historian, where we uncover the extraordinary stories of human resilience, ingenuity, and survival against impossible odds. Today we're venturing into a different kind of battlefield, one fought not with bullets and bayonets, but with words, symbols, and silence, the ticking clock of war. Enemy forces closing in, but in the shadows, brilliant minds were crafting invisible shields, codes so complex, so utterly uncrackable, they held the power to turn the tide of conflict. Join us as we dive into the incredible stories of coded communication that didn't just transmit orders, but saved countless lives. Imagine standing in a command post, the air thick with tension and cigarette smoke. A runner bursts through the door, breathless, clutching a message that could mean victory or catastrophic defeat. But there's a problem. Enemy scouts are everywhere, radio frequencies are compromised, and a single intercepted transmission could doom thousands of soldiers to ambush. This was the daily reality of wartime communication, where words themselves became weapons, and silence could be more powerful than any artillery barrage. In the early days of military conflict, codes were rudimentary, simple letter substitutions, predictable patterns that any determined cryptanalyst could crack with enough time and patience. During World War I, commanders quickly learned that these primitive encryption methods were catastrophically inadequate. German intelligence officers routinely deciphered Allied messages and vice versa. The result was devastating. Carefully planned operations became death traps. Supply convoys walked into ambushes, and strategic advantages evaporated like morning mist under enemy scrutiny. The world desperately needed something revolutionary, communication methods that could withstand the most sophisticated attacks, messages that would remain sealed even under the most intense pressure. As World War II erupted across continents, the race for communication supremacy reached fever pitch. Germany introduced the Enigma machine, a mechanical marvel of rotating wheels and electrical pathways that could generate millions of possible encryption combinations. German commanders believed they had created the ultimate cipher, an impenetrable wall of scrambled text that would keep their U-boat movements, panzer divisions, and bomber squadrons hidden from Allied eyes. The machine's complexity seemed to guarantee security, with operators changing rotor settings daily according to codebooks, creating what appeared to be an ever-shifting labyrinth of encrypted intelligence. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, American military planners were exploring an entirely different approach. Instead of relying on mechanical complexity, they turned to something far more elegant and unexpected: language itself. The Navajo code talkers emerged from this innovative thinking, representing perhaps the most brilliant cryptographic solution in military history. These Marines brought with them a linguistic fortress built not of steel and circuitry, but of culture, tradition, and a language so intricate that it had no written form and existed only in the voices and minds of its native speakers. The genius of the Navajo code lay in its layered architecture. Code talkers developed a two-tier system that confounded every enemy attempt at decryption. The first layer created a phonetic alphabet using Navajo words, Wallachi for ant, representing the letter A, Shush for bear, representing B. But the second layer proved far more sophisticated. Military terminology had to be conveyed quickly and accurately, so code talkers invented new Navajo terms for modern warfare concepts. A submarine became Beshlo, iron fish. A tank transformed into Che Dagahi, tortoise. Fighter planes were Da-Hitihai, hummingbird. This creative linguistic adaptation meant that even if Japanese cryptographers somehow learned Navajo, an almost impossible feat given the language's complexity, they would still face an impenetrable wall of metaphorical military terminology. The true test of any code comes under the crucible of combat, where seconds mean survival and miscommunication equals death. The Navajo code talkers proved their worth immediately upon deployment to the Pacific Theater. During the brutal Battle of Iwo Jima, where Marines fought yard by yard across volcanic ash and entrenched Japanese positions, code talkers worked around the clock in the most hellish conditions imaginable. Artillery shells screamed overhead, mortar fire erupted without warning, and the acrid smell of cordite and death permeated everything. Yet these Marines maintained their focus, transmitting critical coordinates, reinforcement requests, and tactical updates with stunning speed and absolute accuracy. Major Howard Connor, the signal officer for the 5th Marine Division, witnessed firsthand the code talkers' impact. In the first 48 hours of the Iwo Jima assault, 6 Navajo code talkers transmitted over 800 messages without a single error. Connor later made a statement that resonates through military history. Were it not for the Navajos, the Marines would never have taken Iwo Jima. This wasn't hyperbole. It was battlefield reality. Messages that would have required hours to encode using conventional cipher machines were transmitted in mere seconds. When artillery coordinates needed immediate adjustment or enemy positions required instant notification, code talkers provided the speed and security that mechanical systems simply couldn't match. Across the Atlantic, a different drama of code breaking unfolded at Bletchley Park in England, where mathematical geniuses like Alan Turing waged intellectual warfare against the German Enigma. Polish cryptanalysts had provided the initial breakthrough, but British code breakers refined and expanded these methods, eventually creating electromechanical bombes that could test thousands of encryption possibilities. The intelligence gathered from decrypted Enigma messages, codenamed Ultra, became one of the Allies' most closely guarded secrets. Ultra intelligence revealed U-boat positions, allowing convoys to avoid wolf packs that would have sent thousands of sailors to the ocean floor. It exposed German troop movements, enabling commanders to position forces for maximum advantage. Historians estimate that breaking Enigma shortened the war in Europe by at least 2 years, saving millions of lives that would have been lost to prolonged conflict. When the guns finally fell silent and soldiers returned home, the codes they had relied upon didn't simply vanish into history books. The techniques, technologies, and theoretical frameworks developed under wartime pressure became the foundation for modern cryptography and cybersecurity. The electronic computers built to crack Enigma laid groundwork for the digital revolution. The mathematical principles Alan Turing developed while attacking German ciphers now protect your banking transactions, secure government communications, and shield sensitive medical records from unauthorized access. The Navajo code talkers remained classified until 1968, forbidden from discussing their wartime service even with family members. This secrecy reflected the military's belief that their linguistic weapon might be needed again. When their story finally emerged, it revealed profound truths about the value of cultural diversity and indigenous knowledge in unexpected contexts. Today, lessons from the code talkers inform discussions about linguistic preservation, the strategic importance of cultural heritage, and how unique human attributes can provide advantages that no machine can replicate. We now stand at another cryptographic crossroads. Quantum computing threatens to shatter encryption methods that have protected digital communication for decades. The same principles that make quantum mechanics so bizarre, superposition, entanglement, instantaneous correlation across vast distances, could render current encryption obsolete overnight. Yet quantum technology also promises new forms of truly unbreakable communication, where the mere act of eavesdropping would be physically detectable. The race between those who protect secrets and those who seek to expose them continues with escalating sophistication. The story of wartime codes reminds us that survival often depends on information advantage, knowing what the enemy doesn't know you know, communicating when others cannot, maintaining operational security when lives hang in the balance. These principles remain as vital today as they were on Iwo Jima's black sand beaches or in Bletchley Park's cramped wooden huts. The ingenuity, courage, and intellectual brilliance demonstrated by code talkers, cryptanalysts, and countless others who fought the invisible war of words represents humanity at its most resourceful, transforming language itself into a shield against destruction. If this journey into the hidden history of wartime communication has sparked your curiosity, hit that like button and share this video with anyone who appreciates the intersection of survival, innovation, and history. Subscribe to The Survival Historian for more deep dives into the extraordinary methods humans have used to endure impossible circumstances. Until next time, remember, sometimes the most powerful weapons are the ones your enemy never sees coming.